I have been intentionally single for a little over 2 years now, and when I first made the decision to abstain from romantic relationships, I made a promise to myself that I would fully focus on my relationship with myself and do the necessary inner work that I needed to do and that I was avoiding through the relationships I was getting in. And I promised myself that I would learn to stop continuously seeking validation outside of myself and create a strong foundation from within. It was definitely a humbling experience, but within these years, I have learned so much, not only about myself and my patterns, but about love itself and what that truly means to me. In today's video, I wanted to share some of the reflections that have expanded my mind and really stuck with me within these years. Companionship with others is beautiful and necessary in this life, but solitude is also really a gift because it allows us to truly take the time to reflect and learn, and I'm grateful for that. But without further ado, here are some of my reflections on love. Hello, beautiful souls. I am honestly super excited to get into this topic today because I have never really talked about this on my channel. I've never really talked about relationships and romantic love and things like that. And I honestly had just avoided it because I have been single. I felt like I had a lot more integration to do before I could really even speak on things like this. But now I feel ready, and I've really been reflecting on the past years of being single, what that has taught me, what my past relationships have taught me, even, and just everything that I've been learning on this journey. I'm honestly so grateful that I took the time that I did and that I've been taking to be single and be in solitude and to really sit with myself. It has felt like a gift, honestly. And I think sometimes we can get into a spiral of getting into relationship after relationship and not really having time in between or having time to really sit with ourselves and reflect on our experiences and reflect on our actions and what we really even want. I've definitely utilized relationships to escape myself for sure in the past, and I had thought that I loved myself, but my actions weren't really matching that. And so taking this time to really reflect and to be with myself has been very healing. And I am so grateful for the things that I've taken with me and the lessons that I've been learning as well. Something that I've really learned within these years and something that I've reflected on within my relationships is how everything in life, especially people and especially your relationships, are literally a mirror of you and a mirror of your internal world. um, there's only so much work that we can do on our own. There's only so much spiritual work, so much mental work that we can do, only so much journaling. Only until another person comes into your life that you are able to be faced with the things that you cannot see just on your own. And it is a beautiful opportunity for growth in life. And as I've been single and just reflecting, I've really had the opportunity to allow my experiences within my romantic relationships to teach me about myself and to also maybe see where I went wrong in a situation as well, because a lot of the time it is super easy to point the finger at other people. And not to say that we shouldn't hold people accountable if they did something horrible or bad, like, definitely we need to hold people accountable for their actions, right? But continuously pointing the finger at another person and continuously dwelling on what was wrong with them, it doesn't give you the opportunity to actually learn from the situation and to actually see how that situation may have mirrored something within you, or how that situation might have mirrored your relationship with yourself as well. Every relationship in our lives, not even just romantic, every relationship is just feedback. And what we are seeing is what is going on within. If we're not valuing ourselves, we're not going to be around people that value us. If we don't hold space for our own emotions, we're not going to be with someone that can do that as well. We're going to be with someone else who avoids their emotions as well and maybe avoids yours. I've really had moments where I've been deeply honest with myself about certain situations and how they actually reflected what was going on within me, and how they just honestly reflected the fact that I did not truly love myself. Even if I thought I didn't. And like I said earlier, using a certain relationship to escape myself. And as I've been reflecting on my relationships, I have also seen how in many situations I constantly wanted to point the finger at the other person when there were things within me that I had to look at and that I was being shown. And also, there were ways that I went wrong as well. There were communication skills I might have lacked. There were certain ways that I could have been a better partner. Reflection and really having that perspective of using that person as a mirror really allowed me to dive deep into that and kind of get out of this victim mindset, or to get out of this poor me. At the end of the day, everything is a reflection. And like I said, we can hold people accountable, but we also need to hold ourselves accountable and see how that relationship was reflecting our own relationship with ourselves. It was healing, to be honest with myself, and to really allow those experiences to expand me and not get stuck in this cycle of blame, even blaming myself. I don't think you should blame yourself either. It's not about blame, it's about just being honest and being real with that information that you get from being honest and real, seeing how you can apply the lessons to your life and move forward. Seeing your past relationships as a mirror and seeing the lessons within them allows you to release resentment towards the other person and allows you to release them with love, to lovingly release people and to free yourself from certain ties that get created through relationships, and also ties that get created through resentment and through hatred towards another person. You're still tied to that person if you still have those strong feelings towards them, whether it's love or hate. We want to be neutral and we want to release these people with love and move on and move forward. Just so you guys know, I'm definitely talking to myself as well, because I have gone through the cycle of like having so much resentment towards another person. I feel like I am just now getting to the point where I have no resentment. And it took a minute. It took a minute for me to release that and to get out of the blaming cycle and to forgive the other person, but also forgive myself and forgive the version of myself that allowed certain things or that got into that situation. So it takes time, and I definitely understand that, and I want to share and be vulnerable in that sense that like I'm not perfect, and I have definitely had those feelings towards someone that I was in a relationship with, and I've had to move through it, but it feels good to be on the other side. It does. I am so grateful for the lessons I've learned and for the souls that have come into my life and showed me certain things that I needed to see. And I probably did the same for them as well. So we're just all walking each other home. We're just all leading each other to expansion, and having that perspective after you, of course, feel the necessary emotions that you need to feel, maybe after a breakup or things like that. But coming back to that perspective has really helped me move through these situations with ease and has had me see relationships and love just in a completely different way. Another really important thing that I've learned is that friendships are just as important as your romantic relationships. Yes, they are pretty different connections, but they should both be nurtured the same. And I feel like I can speak for a lot of women who tend to kind of get lost in relationships, or you put your romantic relationship on a pedestal above other relationships, and so your other relationships start to dwindle, and that's not healthy. And when I think back on my past relationships, you guys, I had no friends. Like it was just me and my boyfriend at the time. Like I didn't have any quality friendships. I had friends, but like no one that I would see consistently or regularly. That affected me because after I was not with that person anymore, I kind of was like, who am I outside of this relationship? Like, I don't really have, besides the relationship with my family, like, there's not really other relationships I have outside of this. And I almost would kind of make my relationship my whole identity. And of course, romantic relationships obviously have a different quality to them than just friendships. And romantic relationships, at least I see them as a union, and that can feel different. But it still is so important to have your friends, to have time with your friends, to have your space that you may need. It just can help you not get lost, and I think I had gotten lost in the relationships that I had been in for sure. If I had nurtured my friendships or even had quality friendships, I feel like it would have really helped me and shown me all the facets of love that can be experienced, because love can be experienced within your friendships. I feel so much love within my friendships and within the sisterhoods around me, you know? And especially as women, it's so crucial to have other women around you and other sisters to connect with. And it's a different kind of love that also feels so fulfilling. As I've been single these past 2 years, I've really focused on my friendships and building quality friendships and spending time with my friends. And it's been so healing and so beautiful, and it's shown me how important that is. I used to constantly just look for a romantic relationship, a romantic partner, and I would put that above friendships. It was kind of conditioning as well, because I feel like we've all kind of been conditioned to crave some sort of like validation, especially male validation or external validation, and romantic relationships give us that type of validation that we crave more than a friendship does. So it makes sense for us to naturally want to put that on a pedestal. But it's so important to have your own identity outside of a romantic relationship, and to not lose yourself within it. And that is something that has really stuck with me and that I've learned. Another thing that I learned about love is that unconditional love must be created within to be experienced externally, like fully experienced externally. Also, love is a frequency that you can experience. It is not something that just exists with another person. And I think we can become addicted to relationships or become addicted to another person because we lack that love within ourselves. So when someone is showing us that, we kind of latch onto that and we ignore the red flags. We ignore certain things that are probably important to us because they're showing us this type of love that we want so much, or this attention, or they're saying all the right things and stuff like that. But when you have your own source of love within yourself, you become more grounded and also not as desperate. You don't really cling on to people as much. You can actually make level-headed decisions on who you want to be with because you have created that frequency within yourself. And so someone else got to match that, or it's not happening. Love is literally an energy. I can choose right now to be in love, in this moment. I can choose to get on the frequency of love and to create that within myself and to tap into that. And I always thought it was just something that existed within a romantic relationship or within the person that you are with. And that your main source of love would be from that, but it's not true. Like, you can create that energy within yourself, and when you do that, you become so much more empowered from within, because you are not chasing a high, or you are not full of lack, on the inside. And a lot of the time when we're full of this lack and this desperation, we don't make the right decisions when it comes to people, and we create these attachments that are not healthy. I've seen that within myself. I realized how I was kind of addicted in a way to this external validation that I was receiving from whoever I was with, or this love that I was receiving. And when that was over, I realized I didn't really have that within myself. I didn't really value myself like I thought that I did. And I'm honestly still on this path of loving myself, and I've come very far. But of course, I still have moments where it feels hard to love myself unconditionally. And I try my best to work through that. But I have noticed that I am able to return to a space of unconditional love a lot easier than I was before. And that feels good. I'm getting there more and more every day. We will continue to learn and to evolve until we leave this planet. Like, there's always things to expand and work on and stuff like that. But it's all a lifelong journey, you know? But as long as we are aware of the fact that this love exists within us and can be created within us, and I'm not just talking about, oh, go take yourself out on a date and self-care day. And that's a part of it, right? Not saying it's not, but really just feeling that love for yourself and tapping into that feeling of unconditional love, loving yourself without conditions. When you begin to do that within yourself as well, you will be able to do that for another person, to unconditionally love another person, see them for who they are beyond the physical, beyond flaws, beyond things like that. The deeper you connect with yourself, the deeper you can connect with another person. But if we constantly seek for love outside of ourselves, we will constantly be seeking all the time. the relationship won't be enough at one point. I really learned that I have to be my own source of unconditional love, and then allow myself to also experience that with another person, but to create that foundation within myself. And I've been working on that within these years, and it's felt really good. It's felt really good to prioritize that and to just get right with myself, to get to know myself, to sit with all aspects of myself, light and shadow, um, and learn to hold space for it all and love it all and grow as well. Unfortunately, most of the love that we are seeing, especially within our generation, or the relationships that we are seeing, you can even see this within, people in your family or your parents. Unfortunately, a lot of it is very conditional, and a lot of it is just two egos that are just together and very surface level. That's something else I noticed as well. A lot of relationships are so surface level that I've seen, and they're not really built on unconditional love or on a union. It's very much yeah, I guess the what's coming to my mind is surface level, or it's built on lust or physical appearance only, or what do you do for me? What are you going to give me? What are you going to do for me? And a part of a relationship is, give and take and things like that. But when you make that the basis of your relationship, and not just loving someone because they simply exist, and just loving a person's soul for who they are, shit becomes toxic. And we see a lot of toxicity within the world, and within these relationships that we're seeing. And I really feel compelled to say this right now. I think that we also, something else I've learned too, actually, we need to stop getting so much relationship advice from the internet and stop listening to all these people that claim to be relationship gurus and all this stuff, because I've noticed a lot of them, and this is no shade or no hate towards anybody at all. It's just something I've noticed. A lot of them are coming from fear. Whether it's these people on these podcasts or whatever, they're not like, this is not love that people are talking about. They're not coming from a space of true, genuine love. And a lot of it, the things that are talked about, are so surface level and so like, all these rules and all this and that. And it's just so ridiculous. And as I've stepped back from that and stepped back from the digital space surrounding relationships and love and whatever, I have seen how ridiculous this stuff truly is. And I think it will be beneficial to not listen to that, because it's just not good programming. I think it's so important to really tune in with yourself and tune in with what you actually truly value. So many of the things that we're saying or thinking are not even coming from us. They're coming from these people that you hear on the internet. Ask yourself if that's really you, if that's really what you think, if that's really what you value. And if you resonate with some of it and value some of it, then that's great. But if there are things that you actually don't, really sit with that. And it's like, come up with your own values within relationships, come up with your own desires and things that you want, and don't allow these people to brainwash you. And I definitely had a point in my life where I let that stuff kind of brainwash me, and it wasn't healthy. And as I've been like really just like tapping in with myself and with what I truly want, I've seen what I actually truly value. And it's allowed me to not look at relationships from this fear based narrative or from this transactional based narrative as well. That's something else that's talked about a lot too, or this black and white perspective. A lot of it is really just not, it's there, no one's really talking about love here or a union. They're just talking about like roles and transaction and fear and toxicity and demonizing the other gender, which is not healthy at all. And I know that a lot of the time too, when we go through certain things in past relationships that may be traumatic or really affected us in a negative way, we can have this fear within us, and this fear to love again, this fear to open up again. I've noticed that within myself, even in situations where I maybe just talked to somebody and got rejected or didn't work out. It was like, dang, like I'm scared to be vulnerable again and open up again, because what if someone rejects me, or what if I get hurt, or what if it doesn't work out? This is something I'm still learning and something I'm still telling myself, because I notice that sometimes I can get into a very like closed off mode and just close myself off and harden. And I don't want to be like that. I want to be open, have boundaries, and be strong within myself, but also be fearless and be open to love and not move from fear or scarcity or thinking that I'm going to get hurt or something isn't going to work out. It's like everything is an opportunity to learn at the end of the day, kind of like what I said earlier. even if something doesn't work out, I know I'm going to learn something from that. Every situation is a mirror and opportunity to learn, even if it's not favorable. And as I remind myself of that, it allows me to be a little more open and to not close myself off so much, and not be fearful of connecting or opening up to another person. So yeah, I wanted to share that too, because that's I was talking to a friend about this, and it's something I've been reflecting on within myself, and I've been seeing like, oh, this fear come up around opening up again and being vulnerable. I've also learned that the only person that can really make me feel embarrassed about something is myself at the end of the day. The embarrassment that I may feel from rejection really just comes from me sourcing my value from another person's opinion of me, or whether someone likes me or not. Like, that really is just my own reaction at the end of the day. It's easier said than done, I know. And I remind myself of these things all the time. But that was just a little other thing I wanted to share that I've been learning as well. Love is a beautiful thing, man. It's beautiful. And I'm really grateful for the love that I have experienced within romantic relationships. And I can say that I have felt real love before. And I'm grateful to say that, even if it didn't work out, like, I'm just thankful for the experience and for what I learned from it and for the feelings that were created, and all of that. I'm excited to experience more of it within myself and eventually within a romantic relationship, and to open myself up to that again. But I am grateful for my time that I've had single and just working on myself and focusing on my evolution. And I'm excited to evolve even more when another person enters the picture and becomes my reflection. And I'm excited to do the same for them as well, and just create a union and grow together. I think that's everything that I wanted to share today about love and relationships and what I've learned and all that. I do have my notes over there. I think I've hit everything I wanted to say. There was one point in the notes where I just wrote, just say whatever you want. So I think I got there. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this little chit chat type of video. I've been enjoying these a lot. I like talking and reflecting, and just sharing perspectives and reading your comments as well, and starting discussions in the comment section. I'd love to know what you've learned about love through your relationships, or through being single, through anything. If there's anything that really has stuck with you about relationships and love that you've learned, please share it down below. I'd love to read, and we can just all create a beautiful love cave together. Thank you so much for watching this video, and for spending this time with me, for sharing your energy, and for being just as you are. I am sending you so much love. I hope you're having a beautiful month so far. Hope you're finding time to take care of yourself, to take deep breaths, and to move through it all. And with that, I will be signing off and enjoying the rest of my day. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye bye.